Okay, so this lesson is a second grade language arts lesson called Problem and Solution, Building a Better Bicycle. While the main topics covered in this lesson are problem and solution, it's a great lesson to touch on a variety of different topics, including sequencing, recalling information, and engineering and design. Alright, so let's get into it here. The first card is the bell ringer activity, and this is a quick write. Do you like riding bicycles? Why or why not? Draw a picture to illustrate your writing. So that's the teacher card. The student card looks like this, and they have an area where they can write and an area where they can draw. So this is meant to be sent as a creative response poll, and in their creative response poll they can write directly on the card, or they can take a picture of a piece of paper that they've done outside of class flow. The next card is the objective for the lesson. We will be able to identify a design problem and create a new design as a solution to the problem. And then we get into the instruction and practice section. So to start this section, we have some background knowledge. How long do you think people have been riding bicycles? And if you click here where it says the answer is, it shows the answer. People have been riding bicycles for over 200 years. And then down here, if you pull this little tab, it pulls out a caption for the photo, just a fun fact about the first bicycle that was called the hobby horse. The next card, we have some more background information. So the Venn diagram is on the teacher card, and here they're going to be comparing and contrasting bicycles from the past and the present. And on the student card, they have a little slideshow that they can navigate through on their own by clicking these arrows in the bottom right hand corner. So each time they click an arrow, it just goes through the timeline sequentially, showing all of the different bicycles throughout history. So as the teacher is writing dictated responses from the students on the teacher card, the students can be flipping through the slideshow to get ideas about how the bicycles were the same or different. The next card is the discussion. Why do you think bicycles have changed so much? And if you click the little discussion icon, it brings up the answers. This can just kind of introduce the ideas of problem and solution, and on the next card we dive deeper into that. So here we have the definition of problem and solution, some examples, and some tips for how to identify them and differentiate between the two. The next card, we get into the reading. So this is an article by ReadWorks, and it's embedded directly into the card, which the teacher can scroll through and navigate through as a PDF file. So the idea here is that the class would read the passage together and then complete the graphic organizer on the next card. The graphic organizer is split into a student card and a teacher card. They are both the same. The only difference is that the teacher card has a check your answers button. So the students could be completing this independently, or it could be done whole group with the teacher writing answers on the board, or this card could be left blank and the teacher could just use this card to check the answers. So when you click check the answers, it takes you to an answer key. Click this reveal button. It shows all of the answers for the graphic organizer. And the next part of the lesson is where we get into the fun stuff. So kind of as a check your understanding for what they just read, they're going to be asked a series of multiple choice questions, recalling information from the article, and these are all in sequential order. So we're addressing sequencing here, we're addressing recalling information, and then we're going to get into some engineering and design at the end of the lesson. So for this particular section, they get a multiple choice question, which will be sent as a poll, and after they have responded to the multiple choice question, they can click the question mark to reveal the answer on the timeline. The next card has an audio file for that particular bicycle that was just displayed on the timeline, so they can listen to this to get some more information, and then they're going to identify a design problem with this bicycle and identify how the engineers solved the problem. The first known bicycle was invented in the early 1800s. It was called the hobby horse. It was made of wood and did not have pedals, so it couldn't move on its own. You had to move it by shuffling your feet. Pedals weren't added to bicycles until the bone shaker design was developed in the 1860s. So this card can be sent as a creative response poll. and then the students can write their answer to the problem and solution. And then on the next card, you can check the answer. So we have the timeline again and a chart to list problem and solution for each bicycle. So if we click the question mark, we can see that the problem was it had no pedals. The solution was that they added pedals. And so the lesson continues from here with each bicycle that was mentioned in the article being added to the timeline. And it's the same format. You have the multiple choice question with the answer check on the timeline, followed by the card with the audio, identify the problem and solution, and then check the problem and solution on the next card. And so I'm just going to scroll down to kind of skip through all of that because it's all the same. Okay, and then when we get to the final bike, instead of a problem and solution, they're just presented with a question, and this can be sent as a yes-no poll. So do you think that modern day bikes could still get even better? And explain. So they can answer yes or no and then continue the discussion with an explanation verbally. The next card, we start getting to the end here. So we're just going to discuss what are some design problems of today's bicycles and how could we solve those problems. So, you know, the students could be answering while the teacher is writing the dictated answers on the board here. Then we're going to go to the next card, critical thinking. So they're presented with an activity here where they're going to design a bicycle of the future that will solve one of the 3 problems that was listed on the previous card. So this will be the teacher card, which can stay on the board to present the activity, and then the students will receive the student card as a creative response poll in which they will draw and label a bicycle design of the future. The next card is more of a directions card. They're going to rate each other's designs based on how well each design solves the problems that were discussed on card 28. So they can present the designs to the class, and then they're going to go back to card 28, and as each design is presented, the other students in the class will receive the student card here as a scale poll. And they can rate each classmate's design as a 1, 2, or 3, so it does not solve the problems, it solves some of the problems, or it solves all of the problems. And this way they can kind of peer assess and possibly even vote on a bicycle choice that they would like to have as a bicycle of the future. Then we're going to skip to the closure section here. So to close it all up, we have a writing activity. What do you think? Will bicycles get better in the future? Write an explanation to support your prediction. So this is just a simple, response. They can do this in ClassFlow as a creative response poll, or they can write outside of ClassFlow and take a picture of their work to submit as a creative response poll. And at the very end of each lesson, we always have a short assessment. So it's 5 questions, and I don't have a student logged in here, but if I were to have a student logged in here, I could send the assessment and they quickly answer the questions, and then that wraps it up. And that is it.